The Gulf Coast barrier islands stretch from the sugar white sands of the Florida Panhandle to the tip of Texas like a big sandy shield, soaking up hurricanes, breaking waves, and giving folks a place to fish, tan, and rebuild when nature gets mean. In this episode, we're going to focus on 3 of them. Okaloosa Island, where the beach is busy and the boardwalk's always buzzing. Navarre Beach, quieter, calmer, with dunes and sea turtles. And Grand Isle, Louisiana's tough old soul, weathered, gritty, and hanging on tight. They may look different, but they're all cut from the same Gulf coastal cloth. Resilient, sunbaked, and tougher than a $2 steak.
If Destin's the prom queen and Seaside's the overachiever, then Navarre Beach and Okaloosa Island are the cousins who show up late to the party with sand on their feet, beer in hand, and stories worth hearing. These 2 laid-back stretches of Florida's famed Emerald Coast don't need a flash or fanfare. They've got that signature sugar white sand, water so clear it looks photoshopped, and just enough grit to keep things interesting. Navarre Beach is where the Gulf exhales, and you breathe easy. It's laid back, but never dull. Wild, but never rowdy. Once home to the Pensacola people and early Spanish explorers, it's now a spot to snorkel reefs, meet a sea turtle named Sweet Pea, and crush a blackened redfish poor boy that might just change your life. Just up the coast, Okaloosa Island keeps it salty and simple. Wide beaches, a nostalgic boardwalk, and a pier built for tall tales. It's the laid-back side of the Emerald Coast, where you catch sunsets like sermons and eat shrimp fresh off the boat with your toes in the sand. Together, Navarre and Okaloosa represent the Emerald Coast at its most relaxed and real. No velvet ropes, no overpriced umbrella drinks, just honest-to-goodness coastline and the kind of memories that don't cost extra. Whether you're diving the reefs, casting lines, chasing your kids through the surf, or just sitting still with a cold one, this guide's got you covered. Let's hit the beach.
Navarre Beach is the chill little cousin on the Emerald Coast that doesn't make a lot of noise, but knows exactly how to party without wrecking the house. Long before beach towels and condos, Santa Rosa Island was the home to the Pensacola people, who farmed, fished, and built coastal villages for over 1,000 years, leaving behind shell benders and ceremonial mounds that still dot the landscape. In the spring of 1699, a Spanish expedition anchored off the barrier island, now known as Navarre Beach. As part of Spain's effort to secure its Gulf coastal holdings against rising French ambition, the expedition explored Santa Rosa Sound and came ashore near a shady grove of oaks. They named the site El Robledal, the Oak Grove. Cartographer Carlos de Sigüenza y Gongoria, impressed by the fresh water, fertile land, and strategic location, recorded his findings. But the Spanish did not settle. In the early 1900s, Colonel Guy Wayman planted the name Navarre on the map, and by 1956, Santa Rosa County leased Navarre Beach for $100 a year, built a bridge, and kicked off the beach town boom. By 1991, Navarre Beach officially joined the county, and today it's still got that small town grit with just enough polish to keep things interesting.
And right in the middle of it all is Navarre Beach Marine Sanctuary, a place where you can kick back and do a little bit of everything. The park's got 18 pavilions loaded with picnic tables and barbecue grills, 5 sets of restrooms with outdoor showers, beach mats for wheelchairs for full ADA access. Parking's easy too, with 516 spots and a few RV spaces if you're rolling heavy. Just don't plan on staying overnight. Lifeguards are on duty during the busy season, and the flag system's posted every day to let you know if it's a surf's up or stay dry kind of deal. If you ever wanted to snorkel over coral like you're auditioning for Finding Nemo without giving up beer and barbecue, Navarre Beach Marine Sanctuary is where it's at.
Here's the deal. I had set aside a half a day and all today to shoot a segment at Navarre Beach Marine Sanctuary. I roll up yesterday afternoon and bang, a red flag's flying high. The beach is beautiful, the water's tempting, but a red flag is a red flag, so I pack it up and go find other ways to kill my time. This morning I roll back out there all fired up to try again, see that red flag flapping in the breeze, but I catch a lifeguard and he says, "Hey, conditions are actually yellow. We just haven't swapped the flags out yet." Good enough for me, right? So I gear up, wade out, and join a few other folks bobbing around on the reefs. Shoot a little footage, soak it all in. But let me tell you, that current's pulling harder than I like. I trust my gut, call it a day, and swim on back to shore. Now, does that mean if you show up, it's going to be red flags and rough surf? No, that's just how the ocean plays sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you pack it up and crack a beer on dry land. But it's always better to be safe than stubborn. I'll be back here soon enough. There's always a next time when you respect Mother Ocean. Here are two little segments I did get to shoot before the current chased me in. Navarre Beach Marine Sanctuary ain't just pretty, it's practical. Since 2012, they've been dropping artificial reefs off the coast to boost marine life and give folks a spot to snorkel and dive. I hit the Gulfside Reef, about 350 feet offshore. 75 reef structures swarming with fish and life. It's an underwater block party, and everybody's invited. So the bottom line is this. Always obey the surf flags, and always trust your instincts. These fish will still be here tomorrow, as long as I am. If you find yourself in need of a break from all the sun soaking and shrimp stuffing, do yourself a favor and swing by the Navarre Beach Sea Turtle Conservation Center, home of Sweet Pea, the baddest shelled lady this side of the Gulf. Sweet Pea here is a green sea turtle who got banged up enough that she can't make it in the wild no more. So now she lives like royalty in a custom saltwater tank, getting pampered and admired like the reptilian Beyonce she is. Kids love her, adults respect her, and honestly, if you don't fall in love with Sweet Pea, you may just be dead inside. And the center itself, it's more than just a turtle petting zoo. These folks are out here doing the Lord's work, rescuing, rehabilitation, and teaching the rest of us how not to totally screw up the ocean. So go say hi to Sweet Pea, learn something about marine life, and leave with your heart a little fuller and your trash a little bit more recycled. Now listen, the Navarre Beach Fishing Pier isn't your average rickety fishing dock where you can risk tetanus just to cast a line. No sir, this bad boy is the longest pier in the entire Gulf of Mexico, stretching out a whopping 1,545 feet into that clear, green, blue water like it's trying to shake hands with Cuba. Whether you're out here hunting for the big one, Spanish mackerel, kingfish, or something that might just pull the rod clear out of your hand, or you're just strolling along trying to look pensive for the Instagram, Navarre Beach Fishing Pier delivers. It has views that'll make you question every decision that led to your inland life. And when you're done trying to impress the locals by wrestling a fish bigger than your cooler, after all that hard work, you can wobble on down the pier and hit up Windjammers, where your flip-flops are welcome, your drink is always cold, and the sandwich that'll haunt your dreams is a glorious beast called the Black and Redfish Po' Boy. Windjammers ain't some overpriced tourist trap. No, this place is perched right on top of the pier where the breeze hits just right, the seagulls scream for fries, and every bite comes with a side of oceanfront glory. I'm kicking things off right with the mini crab cakes. They roll out 6 of these little beauties, packed with lump crab meat. They hit them with their own secret seafood spice mix, just enough to wake you up without slapping you silly. Then they toss a lemon wedge on the side
and a cup of house-made citrus aioli that's so good you'll be looking for stuff to dip it in long after those crab cakes are gone. Now, let's talk about that poor boy. We're talking a thick-cut blackened fillet of redfish, the kind of fish that fought hard and tastes even better for it, laid across a proper piece of Gambino bread, straight out of my hometown, New Orleans. Not any of that sad, soggy baguette nonsense. This is the real deal. Crispy outside, fluffy inside. Big enough to double as a flotation device if you eat the whole one. They dress it up the traditional way: lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and a big old slather of remoulade that kicks just enough to make your eyebrows raise without sending you running for a glass of milk like a coward. Get the half if you're trying to keep your shirt buttoned. Get the whole if you're living right and don't care who sees you unhinge your jaw like a snake taking the first bite. And the vibes? Immaculate. Open air seating. Gulf breeze in your hair. Maybe a little sunscreen in your drink. And the sounds of waves crashing nearby while you eat a damn legend. Folks fishing off the pier right behind you. Kids running wild. And a beer in your hand that tastes so much better purely because you're not at work. So if you're at Navarre Beach, do yourself a favor. Grab the redfish po' boy. It's a sandwich. It's a spiritual experience. And it's the reason Windjammers has locals coming back barefoot and blissed out day after day. Let's talk lodgings. Here's the lowdown on Navarre Beach Camping Resort. And I gotta say, if you're looking to kick back by the water without giving up hot showers, strong Wi-Fi, and the occasional redfish sighting, this place might just be your holy grail. They have plenty of RV parking. But if you're like me and prefer full walls and a roof, no problem. They got cabins. And I'm talking about the comfy kind. Queen beds, full baths, kitchenette, screen porches where you can sip your coffee and watch the breeze do its thing. Some of them sleep up to 8 folks, so bring the kids, cousins, or just stretch out like you own the place. Now here's where it gets real good. They got a 300-foot pier out into that clear as glass sound, and I'm standing there watching redfish glide under my feet like they're showing off. And wouldn't you know it, I didn't bring my rod and reel. Rookie move. They got all the essentials too: solid Wi-Fi that actually works, clean laundry facilities, and a camp store that stocks everything from snacks to souvenirs. So even if you forget your bug spray or want to buy a seashell you didn't find yourself, you're covered. Location-wise, you're sitting pretty on the calm side of Navarre, with its own private beach on the Sound and just 5 minutes from the Gulf's sugar white sands. Best of both worlds. Flat water on one side, wave crashing fun on the other. And hey, don't take my word for it. Good Sam gives this place a 9-10-10, which basically means it's cleaner than your mama's kitchen and twice as relaxing. So yeah, whether you're towing a camper, renting a cabin, or just looking for a dang good excuse to fish at sunset, Navarre Beach Camping Resort has it all.
Navarre Beach is the kind of place where you can crack a beer, let the kids run wild in the sand, and maybe, if you're really lucky, spot a dolphin. It's not as flashy as Destin, not as bougie as Seaside, but that's the whole point. Navarre doesn't need to be loud to be awesome. It just needs that emerald water, that sugar sand, and that no BS Florida attitude it has had from the very start.
Out here on Okaloosa Island, you aren't just visiting some random stretch of beach. You're stepping into a piece of Gulf Coast history.
This little barrier island, sitting between Fort Walton Beach and Destin, used to be nothing but sand dunes, scrubby pines, and fishermen smart enough to build high and drink heavy when the hurricanes came knocking. Back in the 1940s, the U.S. government handed the land over to Okaloosa County, Florida, with a handshake and a prayer that it would stay public. And somehow, against all odds and developers with dollar signs in their eyes, it mostly has. Today, Okaloosa Island's still standing proud with its wide open beaches, emerald waters, and a stubborn streak a mile wide.
Okaloosa Island sits just south of Fort Walton Beach. Technically, it's part of Santa Rosa Island, and it falls under Okaloosa County. But folks, they just treat it like the beachy backyard of Fort Walton. Geologically speaking, this whole stretch of coast is like an old Southern family story. Long, complicated, and shaped by time and storms. Okaloosa, Perdido Key, all these barrier islands. They started forming around 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, after the last ice age throws in the towel, and the seas start rising. The rivers around here carry quartz from all the way up in the Appalachians, and the Gulf just rolls it back and forth till it turns into these sugar white beaches. And let me tell you, this sand, it's not normal. It's pure quartz, clean as Sunday morning, and soft enough to make you want to nap in it. That's why the water looks like liquid turquoise poured out of a glass. Here's how that magic works. That bright white sand reflects sunlight like a mirror at a Waffle House parking lot. Makes the water glow like neon. Ain't no Mississippi or anything nearby dragging mud and mystery soup into the surf. That keeps things clean. The Gulf stays shallow for miles. Sunlight hits the bottom and bounces back up like, y'all, look at this. There isn't much plankton or algae out here to muck it up. The water's clear, the vibes are chill, and you can see your toes, even waist deep.
John C. Beasley Park sits at 1550 Miracle Strip Parkway, like a big old welcome sign from the Gulf itself.
Back in the bad old Jim Crow days, when segregation was the law of the land and equality was more of a punchline than a promise, black folks along the Emerald Coast didn't have the luxury of just picking any old beach to cool off. That's where John C. Beasley Park comes in. John C. Beasley wasn't black, but he damn sure used his position to stand up for folks who were. He moved from Montgomery, Alabama to Fort Walton Beach in 1941 and got deep into the civic life of the town. In an era where most white leaders were either silent or standing in the way, Beasley pushed for a beach where the black community could actually set foot in the Gulf without getting run off. Thanks to his effort, the state opened up this stretch of sand on Okaloosa Island in 1960, naming it after him, and making it the only beach in Northwest Florida where African Americans could legally swim during segregation. Now, the man who truly gave this park its heartbeat, that was Andrew Hill, a black park ranger appointed the same year the place opened. Hill wasn't just keeping things tidy and watching over the dunes. He was keeping families safe, keeping the peace, and making sure folks had a little slice of freedom in a world that didn't offer much of it. He was the first and only ranger during the park's segregated years, and he left a mark so strong they put up a plaque in his honor right by the entrance. Beasley Park back then wasn't about fancy, it was about freedom. It had some shade trees, a few barbecue pits, and a stretch of Gulf that black families could finally claim as their own. Kids learned to swim, couples fell in love, church groups baptized folks in the surf, and passed the fried mullet afterwards. It was joy and resistance, all rolled into one, carved out in the sand. Fast forward to today, and Beasley Park has pavilions, restrooms, outdoor showers, and 208 parking spots. One of the dunes walkovers is ADA accessible, because salt air don't discriminate. It's a beautiful place to spend a day, but don't let the calm fool you. It carries the memory of a time when freedom was rationed out by skin color, and it stands as a reminder of the folks who didn't wait for permission to live with dignity. Beasley Park isn't just a beach, it's a legacy, one that still whispers, we were here, we mattered, and we still do.
Slide a little east past Beasley Park, and you'll hit the Gulf Islands National Seashore, Okaloosa area, where things get real peaceful, real quick. This is the bay side of life, so if you're with littles and the Gulf is kicking, come over here where it's a little bit more peaceful. Think about it as the quiet water beach area of Okaloosa Island. Blue Angels just flew right overhead.
This stretch of quiet shoreline ain't about frozen daiquiris or souvenir stands. It's pure, untamed Gulf Coast, the way God and probably a few drunk pirates intended. You got outdoor showers, restrooms that do the job, some picnic tables for when you need to uncrumple your beach towel and crush a sandwich, and enough parking to handle a good Sunday crowd. Managed by the National Park Service, this place stays clean, quiet, and wild. No high-rises, no neon signs, just dunes, birds, sea breezes, and that slow, sweet sound of the surf doing its thing. If you're looking to escape the chaos and let the salt air entangle your brain, this is where you want to plant your flag.
Right smack dab in the middle of it all, at 1450 Miracle Strip Parkway, the Okaloosa Island Boardwalk shows up like it just busted through the wall, yelling, "Y'all ready to party?"
You got beachfront restaurants smelling like fried shrimp heaven, shops selling everything from sunscreen to airbrush t-shirts with wolves on them, public bathrooms that aren't half bad, and volleyball courts where people who ain't touched a gym in a decade suddenly think they're going pro. This place buzzes all day and most of the night. Locals, tourists, sunburned dads in socks and sandals. It's a wild, happy mess where you can eat, drink, shop, and beach all without moving your truck more than 100 yards. The island pier stretches out 1,262 feet into the Gulf, like it's trying to shake hands with Cuba or something. You walk out there and it's just emerald water and that salty breeze that makes you forget whatever nonsense was stressing you out. If you're the fishing type, this pier's your playground. Folks haul in Spanish mackerel, kingfish, cobia, tarpon, even blackfin tuna when the season's right. They got a bait and tackle shop right there on site with gear, snacks, and the kind of advice that only comes from somebody who's been doing it since they were born. And the best part? That daily fishing pass covers your license, so you ain't got to fool with paperwork or online nonsense. Now, if you ain't into fishing, don't worry. The pier still slaps. You can take a stroll for a couple of bucks, maybe spot a dolphin, a sea turtle, or a big old heron strutting around like he owns the pier. And let me tell you, sunrise or sunset from out there, it'll make you believe in God, or at least start humming a gospel song. All told, the island pier is a little slice of coastal magic, whether you're looking to hook a monster fish or just take it all in like a Gulf Coast postcard come to life. Angler's Beachside Grill sits right where the boardwalk meets the Gulf, practically hugging the entrance to the pier like it's been waiting on you all day. This place doesn't just serve food, it serves up the whole damn Emerald Coast experience. Sand, salt, air, and all. Now, let's talk about the grouper tacos, because Lord have mercy, they nail it. They blacken that local grouper just right. Hit it with their own spice blend that has more attitude than your cousin after 3 margaritas. Then sear it to get that smoky crust, while keeping the middle soft and flaky, like your grandmother's biscuits. They throw it in a warm tortilla with some crunchy lettuce, fresh pico, and that zingy remoulade that pulls it all together like a good church choir. You eat it on the patio, Gulf breeze blowing, waves in the distance, and you'll swear you're in a Jimmy Buffett song. The vibe, real laid back. Big windows, big view, big bar, and even a dang playground so the kids can go nuts while you sip something cold. Whether you're post-beaching, date nighting, or just hungry as hell, Anglers makes it easy to settle in, eat well, and forget whatever nonsense was stressing you out. Locals love it, tourists find it, and everybody leaves full and happy. What more could you ask? Okaloosa Island has 7 public access beaches strung along Santa Rosa Boulevard. They include
the Blue Dolphin Beach Walk, Emerald View Beach Walk, the Seashore Beach Walk, Jerry Melvin Beach Walk, Doris Jordan Beach Walk, Mike Mitchell Beach Walk, Emerald Promenade Beach Walk.
They more or less each have about 25 parking spots, give or take, including some for folks who need a little extra space. You'll find restrooms, outdoor showers to rinse the salt and regret off your sunburned self, a couple pavilions with picnic tables, and a dune walkover that's fully wheelchair friendly, because everybody deserves a shot at the beach. And here's the cool part. Some of these beach spots come with artificial reefs just offshore, built for snorkeling. They're part of the Robert Bozzini Snorkel Reef Network that gives fish a place to party and folks like us a front row seat to the underwater show. These include Beach Access Number 2, Emerald View Beach Walk, Beach access number 4, Jerry Melvin Beach Walk. Beach access number 6, the Mike Mitchell Beach Walk, as well as John Beasley Park. And there you have it. Okaloosa Island is just sitting here waiting for you. No gates, no golden tickets. Just you, the sand, that beautiful emerald water, and an amazing day lined up ahead of you. Just bring yourself, and the Gulf will do the rest. Welcome to Grand Isle, Louisiana, last stop before the Gulf. This ain't your average beach town. It's part fishing camp, part storm survivor, with pirates in the dirt and redfish in the surf. Folks down here don't just live, they endure, they rebuild, and they throw a party while they're at it. So grab a pool boy, wet a line, and soak it in. You're on island time now.
Grand Isle is the last scrap of land before the Gulf takes over. It's also the state's only uninhabitable barrier island, hanging on like a drunk uncle on a mechanical bull. Barely, but with heart. Used to be the Chicamacha hunted and fished out here, living off the land way before the French showed up and decided it looked like a good place to plant a flag and boss people around. By the 1700s, it was full of fishermen, trappers, and folks who knew how to wrangle a living out of the marsh and the mud. Then came the sugar boom, rich Creole planters, enslaved labor, and boats full of sugarcane. That all ended in 1893, when a hurricane came rolling through and erased whole communities. But Grand Isle didn't pack up and leave. No, she doubled down. Fishing took over. Redfish, trout, tarpon. Folks built camps, threw shrimp in a pot, and said, heck yeah, we live here. The Grand Isle Tarpon Rodeo kicked off and never looked back.
All hands man your battle stations.
World War II, they were out here searching the horizon for Nazi submarines. Later, all rigs showed up. Roads got built, and the island got hooked to the mainland by a bridge longer than a preacher's sermon. Then came more hurricanes: Katrina, Gustav, Ida. Each one tried to knock Grand Isle out, and each time the island just spit out some floodwater, nailed some boards back up, and kept frying fish. Nowadays it's part beach town, part working village, all heart and all pride. You got shrimp boats, boiled crabs, porches full of folks who've seen some things, and pelicans riding the wind like they own it. It's not fancy, but it's tough, salty, and real. Grand Isle's the kind of place that might get knocked down, but dang sure don't stay that way. Before we hit the island proper, I just gotta tell you about Elmer Island Wildlife Refuge. It's just west of Grand Isle, and it's about as Louisiana as it gets. Salt marsh, beach, and birds galore. The state took it over in 2008 to keep it wild and open it to folks who want to fish, birdwatch, or just get some sand in their shoes. You'll spot everything from sea turtles to migrating shorebirds that probably flew in from Canada just to vibe. They rebuilt the whole beach and dune system in 2016 after erosion tried to eat it alive. Biggest restoration project in state history. No trucks pass the gate, and watch out during nesting season. But if you're looking for peace, fish, and Gulf breeze, this is your spot. My first stop on island has got to be Bridgeside Marina, holding down the fort since 1968. Family run, full service, and right next to the pass, which might as well be a redfish freeway. Miss Dottie Vegas and crew have got you covered. Live bait, RV hookups, gas station boudin that will change your life, man, and enough southern hospitality to float a shrimp boat. Hurricane Ida dang near wiped it off the map in 2021. But Bridgeside bounced back fast. By 2022, they were back open, slinging bait and boudin like nothing happened. This place ain't just a marina, it's the beating heart of Grand Isle.
I've been running wild at Grand Island State Park since I was 3 years old and learned the hard way not to try to make friends with the blue crab. Opened in 1968, the park was meant to protect Louisiana's last stretch of beach and give regular folks a place to camp, fish, and sweat out a hangover with some sea breeze. It's been beat up by more hurricanes than I can count. Katrina gave it heck, and then Ida came through in 2021 like a sledgehammer, taking out the beloved 900-foot fishing pier I used to post up on for hours. It is still down for the count, but the rest of the park, still kicking. You got a full mile of sandy beach to stretch out on, plus showers, a bathhouse, and the best dang tent camping on this side of the Gulf. Nothing like falling asleep to the sound of surf and waking up to the smell of fish guts and sunscreen. Surf fishing here is the real deal. Folks cast right from the beach and pull in specks, reds, pompano, and black drum. Even the occasional shark if you're feeling brave, or dumb I guess. Spring and summer bring trout, fall and winter redfish time. But don't go getting reckless. When I rode up last time, the surf flag was red for no swimming and purple for you may get stung, bit, or worse. Rip currents, jellyfish, stingrays. This beach ain't Disney World, y'all. Read the signs or you'll end up in a cautionary tale. After all that beaching, it's time to cool off the Louisiana way at Megan's Snowballs and Ice Cream, right off Highway 1. It's kind of place where your flip-flops stick to the deck, so you know it has to be good. I went with the coconut because of course I did. I love coconut. Now Megan's got all your classics, plus ice cream, hot dogs, and nachos if you're feeling frisky. It's a local favorite, a tourist magnet, and just what you need after a hot day baking in the Gulf sun. Our Lady of the Isle was built in 1918 after the 1893 storm wiped the old one clean off the map. It's stood here ever since, taking every hurricane the Gulf could throw at it. Hurricane Ida tore it up in 2021, but folks here don't let a little thing like 150-mile-an-hour winds keep them from mass. After 90 weeks of elbow grease and prayer, the church reopened in 2025. A new altar, old relics, but the same spirit that has kept this island floating for over 200 years. Alright, so here is the real deal Bayou version of Grand Isle's Pirate Pass. So hold on to your snowball. Jean Lafitte, yes, that Jean Lafitte, the slickest pirate / smuggler in the Gulf, ran his outlaw empire just across the pass on Grand Toury Island from 1805 to 1914. It was from here that Jean and his band of saber-swinging misfits worked the whole Barataria Bay like it was their own personal Walmart. And yeah, they made regular stops on Grand Island. Then came the War of 1812. Lafitte and his crew helped Andrew Jackson defeat the British at the Battle of New Orleans, and Uncle Sam gave them a pardon for about 5 minutes. Let's be honest, a pirate's gonna pirate, and eventually the feds kicked Jean out of Barataria, then Galveston, and told him to hit the road. Some of his men went with him, others, they just disappeared into the marsh like gators at dusk. But a good chunk of them set up a camp right on Grand Isle, figuring it was quiet, swampy, and just civilized enough for their personal taste. Folks say these old pirates married local girls, raised families, and spent their golden years drinking, fishing, and talking trash about the British. And while Lafitte isn't buried on Grand Isle, one of his right-hand man is, Louis Nescoup Shigagola. The dude was born in Genoa, Italy, got half his nose sliced off in a sword fight, and just kept going. He was one of Lafitte's trusted lieutenants, fought at the Battle of New Orleans, and later laid down roots on Grand Isle. Turned pirate to patriarch. He died in 1870, and he's likely buried in the Grand Isle Cemetery. His son, Louis Jr., is laid to rest across the road at Our Lady of the Isle Catholic Cemetery. The family name lives on, literally, in Shigagola Lane. There's two kinds of people who eat at Starfish, locals and fishermen. And heck, around here, the locals are fishermen. So really, it's just folks who know good seafood when they taste it. Starfish sits right off LA1, and it's been feeding Grand Isle for years, with Gulf seafood so fresh, it dang near flops off your plate. Real laid back joint. Flip-flops, sunburns, and no one's judging you for ordering a beer with breakfast. Their menu hits all the classics. Shrimp po' boys, soft shell crab, gumbo, and the kind of onion rings that make you question your life choices in the best way possible. I kick things off with the seafood gumbo. Rich, peppery, loaded with gumbo shrimp. And yeah, I might have outed myself as a New Orleanian by passing on the potato salad. That's a German coast thing. And while I respect it, I'm a rice in my gumbo kind of guy. Then came the oyster po' boy. Crispy, briny, and fresh enough you swear it came right out of the past 5 minutes ago. Service, top notch, friendly as kin, at least my kin. You walk in a stranger, you leave like family. Hurricane Ida tried to wipe it out, but the Starfish didn't blink. It's still open 7 to 9, most nights, 10 on weekends. Still slinging po' boys and island soul like nothing ever happened. If you're on Grand Island and you skip the Starfish, you have messed up, brother. There was no way I was driving all the way down to Grand Isle and not going fishing. That's like going to Memphis and not going to Graceland. That's just not how we do things around here. So I kept it casual and hit one of the new public fishing piers. They got 2 of them, both stretching around 1,000 feet into the pass like God's own tackle box. I fished the one right beside the beachside marina, which is basically where the island begins. Pier access? Totally free. Just show up, drop a line, and try not to hook a tourist. I saw dolphins both days, real life flippers cruising through the pass, and enough pelicans to film a Nat Geo special. Speckled trout though? Kinda shy. Caught a couple of little ones, but still, you can't complain when you're fishing with the breeze, some cold drinks, and a Gulf sunset. So next time I'm coming prepared. Gonna grab some live shrimp from Bridgeside before they close at 7, drop them in the aerator, and wait till those pier lights flip on. That's when the real action starts. Speckled trout rolling in like drugstore Waffle House. Truth be told, I left Grand Isle and I'm already scheming on my next trip back. Thank you for watching. If you're hungry for more of the strange and beautiful chaos that is the Gulf Coast, we got a podcast now, over on Patreon. And if you haven't hit that subscription button yet, now's the time. Don't overthink it, just do it. Until next time, folks, this is Gulf Coastal Connections. Stay curious, stay hungry, and stay salty.